miles per hour in between. The scattered showers are likely across most of northwest Kansas, with storms and severe weather south of I-70 or south and west of the Goodland to Gove line with some large hail-damaging winds. And further south and west, there's a threat for very large hail-damaging winds and tornadoes from Colorado Springs to Dodge City. Rainfall will be lighter across northwest Kansas of 10 to 40 points, or less than a half inch. In southwest Kansas and along the Kansas-Colorado line south of I-70 is where we could see a half inch to the 1 inch plus rainfall. Tonight, rain moves off to the east, remains mostly cloudy with lows dropping into the low 50s, and tomorrow will be sunny and much warmer, highs climbing into the mid-80s as winds turn to a west-northwest direction at 10 to 20 miles per hour. This meteorologist Chris Romick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio is the place to turn to weekdays for the latest agriculture news and markets. Being a member of the National Association of Farm Broadcasters, we take pride in making sure you're informed of the latest news from the world of agriculture. Whether it's local, state, regional, or national, if it affects your farm or ranch, you can count on hearing it here. Daily reports from Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio are made possible by Farmers State Bank, Norder Supply of Scott City, Cornerstone Ag, and Woofter Construction and Irrigation.
Big savings are waiting at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 25 Chevy Silverado 1500 with 0.9% APR for 60 months plus $3,500 trade-in cash. Or choose a 25 GMC Sierra 1500 Turbo Max, 0.9% APR or up to over $7,800 off if you own a GMC or Buick. And don't forget, military members get an extra $750 cash allowance. It's happening now at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Spring is in full swing at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Get your lawn and garden looking their best with Ultimate Fertilizer and gear up with Eco blowers and mowers for the season ahead. Tackling a project, they've got a surplus of quality lumber ready for all your building needs. And when the work's done, fire up the fun with their wide selection of grills, smokers, and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Stop by Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your one-stop shop for spring projects, big and small.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
If you need renter's insurance, see me, Shelter Agent Brent Wood in Goodland.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
Hi, this is Brent Wood in Goodland. Let me show you why so many clients recommend us to their friends.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
The High Plains only local sports talk show.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting live on Rocket 102.5 and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon, the crossover, back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch. In the end zone, touchdown Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with the insurance agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
First big league hit for Jack Caglione. And he's got a run batted in. Salvador Perez comes home. Congrats to Cags.
That's a base hit down the line. Suarez has tied the game. Marte is home. They will wave Vargas. Here he comes. And the Diamondbacks have stolen the lead right back. Gino Suarez. Wow.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. Kennedy strikes out Henry. Strands the tying run at third. And Texas Tech is even the series at 1 game apiece.
It is rebounded by Indiana. 8 seconds on the clock. They're down 1. They have timeouts, but they're going to play it. Here's Halliburton driving, lifting, shot up, good! With 0.3 of a second to go. Halliburton does it again. How does he do it?
I don't know how he does it, to be completely honest with you. That is unbelievable. Good Friday morning, June the 6th. Foggy start to the day here in Northwest Kansas, at least in Goodland, with I'd say a decent fog. Like I said, I always like to compare it. How can I see the water tower out the window here from my studio? I can see it. I can see the outlines of it, but it is, like I said, a very foggy morning here on this Friday, June the 6th. So everyone heads off to starts off to a good day. Glad that you are with us, no matter if you're listening, of course, on Goodland's Rock at 102.5 or NWKSradio.net, or you're tuning in through the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Glad that you are with us here on this Friday. We got plenty to get to in today's program. We're going to talk some six-man football going on down in Greensburg, Kansas. This Saturday is the six-man football all-star games, and we're going to be joined by the head coach of the Kansas squad, and that would be our good friend Travis Smith of Golden Plains, the football coach there for the Bulldogs. He's the head coach, along with his buddy Brett Cloud, another friend of the program. They are a couple of coaches that are leading the Kansas six-man all-star game, an all-star team, I should say, against Colorado South coming up here on Saturday. And so we're going to visit about that coming up on today's program. We'll get to some thoughts on regional baseball as the Super Regionals begin today. 4 games today, and then 8 games tomorrow in total. But 4 more games, I should say, start Saturday. And so we'll talk a little college baseball in our final segment of the day. But, man, to kick off the show, okay, F&B Bank text line, 785-899-2222. Look, I've never been a humongous NBA fan. Never have been one. It's never really been my thing. But if you are a big NBA fan, if you have followed the NBA quite a bit, I want to know, has anybody seen a player, at least in recent time? I don't even know. Like the one that I can think of Jordan. But I don't know if I can think, and maybe Bird even before that. I'm trying to think of players that are just absolutely clutch. And I don't know if there is anybody more clutch than Tyrese Halliburton right now with the Indiana Pacers. Last night, he helps lead. Now, I'm not going to give him all the credit for the comeback. I mean, the Pacers were down by 15 last night to the Oklahoma City Thunder on the road in Oklahoma City, mind you, where it has been a tough place to play. They are down 15, and they storm back to win it 111-110 on, once again, a Halliburton jumper in the final second to steal a win on the road in game 1 of the NBA Finals. Look, they're going to talk about it all day, of course, on the major networks and major radio stations, and they're going to talk about it all day. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I want to know, for people who are really good followers of the NBA, I mean, is there anybody more clutch than Tyrese Halliburton? I mean, last night was not his night, folks. It just really wasn't. I mean, this is a guy who's, out there putting up over 20 points per game, heck, 30 points per game, having triple doubles. Last night he has a double-double, but only 14 points to go along with 10 rebounds. It just blows my mind that every single series in this postseason for Indiana, they have had a moment where they have needed a big time basket and they get it done. I mean, game 5 against the Bucks in the first round of the postseason? Guess what? Halliburton drives, blows by, able to finish in front of the big man, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they get the win 119-118 to advance in the playoffs. And then, let's see, when did it happen again? Then I think it happened in game 2 against the Cavaliers, a 120-119 win that they get it done. In game 2 against the Cavs. And then you roll against the Knicks. And once again, another clutch shot but to send it into overtime and then eventually win it. And now in game 1 of the Thunder, you have Tyrese Halliburton knocking down a jumper as time expires to win that game at the buzzer. 4 times, Tyrese Halliburton, pretty much on his own, has ripped the thrill of victory away from the opponent, has ripped it away. And I just don't know if there is anybody that I can think of in recent history that has been that clutch. Jared's throwing out a list here this morning. FB Bank text line always open, 785-899-2222. He's got Steph Curry, Dirk Nowitzki, Jordan, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen. Okay, look, I have nothing against those guys. Jared, since you're with me here, just has anybody, or if any of those, I think maybe Reggie's probably done it a couple times. Of course, Jordan has done it. Oh, Jerry West, okay, Mr. Clutch, okay, Jerry West. And all those guys have made some clutch shots. I'm not saying that they haven't, but I'm talking like I'm trying to say, like, can anybody, like, where they, like, I think it's just because it's happened all in this postseason in every single series. I just don't think anybody's done that. And Jared agrees. And thank you, Jared. Like, I just don't think that there has been anybody else that has done that, where you have gone out there and you have been able to just steal victories at the buzzer. I mean, that was the one thing that, for a long time, and people still, I think, trash LeBron on, is the fact that you got to, you're throwing LeBron out there and he's not, he's not making the big time shots, or he's passing them off or something like that. That was a discussion for a while. And they're like, Jordan would have never done that, and yada, yada, yada. To me, it's just amazing. I mean, first and foremost, to have the guts to say, well, I'm going to do this. And then just to the execution part is just simply amazing to me. It just truly is amazing to me. You don't think Jordan wouldn't have what? Passed the ball or what? Wouldn't have made the shot? I don't know what you mean. To me, it's just amazing. It's just amazing to me to watch. To me, Halliburton, and I'm not saying he's Jordan or anything, but he just reminds me of Michael Jordan in these situations. I want the ball, and not only do I want the ball, I am actually going to win this game. There is something about that. There's just not many players out there that are like, give me the ball, I'm going to go win this thing, and then execute it to the point to where you are successful. That is, I think, the thing that just continues to blow my mind. This entire NBA playoffs, the Pacers, led by Tyrese Halliburton, who, by the way, many shows ago, back when we were in the old building a couple of years ago when Halliburton was getting drafted, I remember saying, I think this was a guy, they were talking about, NBA guy, or this was before they were drafted. And I remember they were talking about the NBA draft with the year Halliburton was in there. And I remember saying, I think Tyrese Halliburton, I'll be very intrigued to see what he's going to be like, because I liked him at Iowa State. And he has been, and I think he was at the Kings, or he got drafted by the Kings. And then it was one of those weird NBA, which I don't understand, the NBA draft, where you can draft a guy, but then he goes to someplace else. But I just, and maybe he was at the Kings for a while. I think he was for a little bit, and then he's now at the Pacers. But I mean, you just talk about, I just cannot wrap my brain around saying, well, I want the ball and I'm going to win it. And you don't always see this in other sports. in baseball, it's, for example, in baseball or softball, it's hard because, if it's a hit, for example, you've got to be in the right spot in the lineup at the right time in order to hit. You just can't, we're going to put this person in here and hit. So you can't do that. And in football, I guess you could be the quarterback and either run it or throw it to an extent, but you have to have other players help you around that. In these situations, let's face the facts here. There are 4 playoff victories at least that Tyrese Halliburton has won at the buzzer or has extended the game at the buzzer to keep this season alive and this run alive for Indianapolis. Like I said, it's nuts. It absolutely is nuts. Larry chiming in, EpiBank text line. He's saying probably Steph Curry. Yeah, Larry, since you're a humongous basketball aficionado, like I said, have you seen anything like this with Halliburton and what we've seen here over the last few games? Because I just don't. And like I said, I know Curry has had some clutch shots. There's no doubt about it. And he's had some big time threes. There's no doubt about it. I just don't know why. Maybe it's because they're these last second shots that actually give them the lead and they've trailed the whole time. Maybe that's why it just continues to blow my mind. I don't know. Once again, they were down by 15. 15 points they were down. And it's like I said, it's been that way. It was that way against the Knicks. It was that way against Cleveland. It's that way against the Bucks. They've been down. And they have stormed back to win these games with Halliburton getting it done at the end. Just amazing to me. It truly is amazing to me to watch and see what we see we're doing. Larry, Halliburton is the man. I tell you, he has, I don't know, once again, I don't know if he's going to, this might just be a heater he's on, where he's just he's just playing unbelievable, or if this is the future. Is Tyrese Halliburton going to be that guy that can go win games for a franchise that is, let's face it, it's small market in comparison to other places. If you're Oklahoma City, you just got to be sick. You had that thing won. You let your foot off the gas, and here storms back Indiana and gets the win. And right now, if you don't know, and I give credit to Oklahoma City, they did a great job on Halliburton all throughout the game. He was 6 of 13 with 14 points. They did a really good job against him for the most part. Give credit to Pascal Siakam leading with 19 points. Nobody had over 20 points in that win for the Pacers last night. Very balanced scoring with 6 guys with double-digit points or more. But once again, I just go back to just Tyrese Halliburton, and it's nuts. It's nuts to see what he has been doing here over these last month or so of NBA playoffs. Just clutch shot after clutch shot after clutch shot, and putting them up and putting them in and winning these games. Absolutely nuts. One thing I love to do, if I can always find it, is hear the calls of the opposition. The call we had a little bit ago, that was the Halliburton winner on ESPN. I'll play it for again. This was the Halliburton winning call on ESPN radio last night.
It is rebounded by Indiana. 8 seconds on the clock. They're down 1. They have timeouts, but they're going to play it. Here's Halliburton driving, lifting, shot up, good! With 0.3 of a second to go. Halliburton does it again. How does he do it?
Yeah, it was that's a good call on the ESPN, but I found the Indianapolis home call, the hometown call on Indiana Pacers radio network.
Gilgeous Alexander has it, 9 to shoot. The defender is Nembhard. Here comes the left-hand bounce, penetrates the arc. Nembhard cuts him off, and he missed off the back of the rim. Rebound, Indiana. 8 seconds to go. The Pacers are not going to call a timeout. Halliburton has it with 3, driving with 2, pulling up, and hitting with 0.3 of a second to go. How many more times can this team do that?
Sweet.
Sweet. Love. It's not like credit to, I don't know who that brought. I had that marked. Let me see. I got to give credit to where credit's due. Who was the play-by-play announcer there? Mark Boyle on 107.5 The Fan there in Indianapolis. Had the call there, and that was a very professional call. Didn't lose his mind. Got excited, though. Great call there by Mark Boyle of the Pacers Radio Network as they steal game one there in OKC, which, by the way, what a night it was in Oklahoma City last night. I mean, not only was, of course, that happening in OKC, Halliburton stealing it at the end for the Pacers, but just down the road in Devon Park is where the Women's College World Series is taking place. And listener Jerris chiming in saying, what about the Texas Tech Red Raiders last night and the Women's College World Series? Yes, another very interesting game, to say the least. Texas went through 3 different pitchers and kind of had to, and once again, I mean, it was interesting because Texas Tech, like game number 1, took the lead, and it was on what, a walk and a hit batter. I mean, it wasn't superbly earned. Yeah, a hit by pitch scored the first run, and then a wild pitch scored the second run for Texas Tech. That's right. And then we go to the 6th, where we get a home run for Texas to make it a 2-1 game. Texas Tech gets some much-needed insurance in the bottom of the 6th on a sacrifice fly and an infield error on a bad play communication over there at first. And so then they're up 4-1. I'm thinking they're good. And then we get to the top of the 7th. And this is where it all went awry. It all went awry in the 7th last game 2 nights ago for Texas Tech, where the top pitcher in the country right now, Nysher Kennery, couldn't, for some reason, intentionally walk a hitter and left one too far over the plate and got hit, and was a 2 RBI shot to win it. But then last night, all of a sudden, Texas gets a double to center, which drives in a run. Then they get a sacrifice fly to drive in another run. I mean, my dad and I were sitting there watching it last night, and because we're kind of pulling for Texas Tech, and he just kind of goes, "What is going on?" And I said, I don't know, I think it was me or maybe my mom even said it, but someone's like, "Well, she's getting paid $1 million. Maybe Texas is paying another $1 million for her to throw the game." I mean, that sounds horrible, and I know that's probably not what's happening, but I mean, she's that dominant through 6 innings, and all of a sudden you just kind of lose your way. Now, once again, I get fatigue, things of that sort, and she's pretty much the only pitcher they have used this entire WCWS. But yeah, she's able to come back after struggling there in the top of the 7th, gets a little help from her defense, then gets a big strikeout at the end to win it 4-3, and they advance and force a winner-take-all game 3 tonight. But that was a great game. Tess Smith, the coach of the Goodland Cowgirls, chiming in at FB Bank text line saying this is one of the best Women's College World Series. Every game has been great. It's true. I mean, if you haven't watched the WCWS this year, you're missing out, because it has been really good. Really, really good. And I have really enjoyed watching the WCWS this year, because there have been so many interesting games. Yeah, Larry chiming in, and the Kennedy's on the mound again tonight. I think she's the only one they have. Look, when you got $1 million pitcher, you're going to have to perform in the biggest situations, and this is it. Now, it's not as big a deal in softball. Once again, there's not as much damage on your shoulder. You can throw more, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, give credit to Texas Tech and their ladies not named Kennedy that are able to get some timely hits and score some runs to back her up. But they're not going to score a ton of runs. My guess, you're going to see Tegan Vaughn pitch for Texas tonight, who's their ace. And so it'll be a low-scoring game. To me, the biggest thing that stands about this WCWS has been the home runs. I mean, if you've watched, I mean, there have been some huge and big-time home runs in massive spots. I mean, massive spots. I mean, we've talked about it on the show before. I mean, there was the Oklahoma 2-run bomb against Tennessee with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th to win it in a walk-off fashion. That was nuts. Oklahoma did it again. UCLA did it earlier with a 2-run bomb, and then had the controversy of not stepping on home plate. Let's face it, I don't think she did. They let it stand. But, I mean, she didn't step on home plate. Actually, Tess, I'd love to hear your opinion on that. Did she step on home plate in that UCLA deal? I'd love to hear your opinion on that, Tess. FNB Bank text line, chime in there. But, yeah, the UCLA player with a great 2-run bomb to extend the game against Tennessee, and then later on Tennessee would win it. But, yeah, this has been a really entertaining Women's College World Series with a lot of drama at the end, and I expect it to be that way again tonight. Kavon's going to pitch for Texas, as I said. Candy for Texas Tech. Who's going to be able to get those timely hits? Oh, Tess, because Tess was there. She missed it from my side. I know. That's what I thought. She missed the plate. And if you watch on television, you see dirt fly up with one step and dirt fly up with another. And she missed the plate. Totally missed it. They let that one slide. But like my good buddy said, she hit it out of the park. So, it should count anyway. It's not like it was, but I don't know. It's also in the rules. You got to step on home. Don't know why you can't do that. God, we're playing college ball here, people. Getting paid most likely to do it. Please step on home plate. That's elementary stuff. But anyway, should be a Women's College World Series finale that you'll want to catch tonight. That is for sure. A couple of great things. You got that tonight. And I think you have a game number 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll see if Edmund can get that done. Yeah. It's definitely been a World Series that you need to know your rule book. That is true. And I admit, Tess, I am one of those that does not know the rule book good enough. I just don't. I don't know the rule book good enough. I wish I did, but I don't know it good enough. There has been some very interesting things, that is for sure. All right, we're at the bottom of the hour. Like I said, what a night it was in OKC with the Women's College World Series and Tyrese Halliburton once again stealing the win away from the Thunder there. That series continues on Sunday. I think it is Sunday, right? I'm going to double check that. Is it Sunday or Saturday? It is Sunday. Yes, Sunday. That series continues with Game 2 in Oklahoma City. So, and like I said, the Women's College World Series will wrap up tonight on ESPN. If you'd like to watch that, should be really good. You can either watch that or, of course, watch the NHL Stanley Cup Finals Game 2, or there's college baseball tonight as well, which we'll get to that coming up in segment 3. All right, we're going to hit to a break. When we come back, we're going to change gears. Like I mentioned off the top of the show, coming up this weekend, you probably haven't heard about it, but this weekend down in Greensburg, Kansas, on the only turf 8-man field in Kansas, is going to be the 6-man All-Star Games featuring athletes from Northwest Kansas, also kids from Colorado, as well as from Texas. And so they're all coming there in Greensburg to play a couple of 6-man All-Star Games. And we will visit with the head coach of the Kansas All-Star team. That's our good friend, Travis Smith, Golden Plains Bulldogs head football coach. He joins us next here on The Morning Blitz.
Spring is in full swing at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Get your lawn and garden looking their best with ultimate fertilizer and gear up with Eco blowers and mowers for the season ahead. Tackling a project, they've got a surplus of quality lumber ready for all your building needs. And when the work's done, fire up the fun with their wide selection of grills, smokers, and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Stop by Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your one-stop shop for spring projects, big and small.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, Jared Law with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas, with your morning market update. It's Friday, June 6th. July corn down 2.5, 4.37 even. September down 0.5 cent at 4.31. December down 1 1/4 at 4.47. Soybeans on the July down 3 1/4, 10.48.5. August down 3 3/4, 10.42 3/4. November down 3 1/4 at 10.30. KC wheat on the July up 1/4 cent, 5.42 3/4. September up 0.5 cent, 5.56. December unchanged, 5.76 3/4. Chicago wheat up 1 1/2, 5.47 on the July. Feeder cattle yesterday finished 309.15. Live cattle 222.90. Lean hogs 185 cents. Crude oil up 26 cents a barrel at 63.63. Gold futures up 260 at 3,363. Silver up 59 cents at 36.39. Dow futures are up 310 at 42,679. S&P futures up 47, 5,993. U.S. dollar index down 51 at 106.23. Need to move any cash, grain, or want to talk about risk management, you can reach out to myself, Jared Law, Tom Pluto, or Tyler Gosch at 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
They say seeing is believing, and nothing catches the eye like the 9.5 bushel per acre yield advantage of Revitec fungicide over other fungicides. But don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Run a comparison of Revitec fungicide. Enter the Real Results Yield Challenge and experience the difference it makes in your fields. And when you share your experience with us, you'll get a chance to win a 2-year lease on a new truck. Sign up at yieldchallenge.basf.us. No purchase necessary. See official rules for details. Always read and follow label directions.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Since 1901, F&B Bank has been serving our local ranchers, farmers, and other ag-related businesses, and many of our team members grew up in the ag environment. That being said, we understand your business doesn't fall into a one-size-fits-all model, so why should your loans? You can count on us to understand the uniqueness of your operation and meet each one of your financing needs. Come see me, Casey Schilling, to begin building that relationship today. F&B Bank, member FDIC.
From the latest scores to the hottest takes,
60% of the time, it works every time.
we're bringing the game to you. You're tuned in to the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Moving along here on a Friday, June the 6th. Should be a really nice day today. The fog's starting to kind of lift here in Goodland, starting to clear up a little bit, seeing a little bit better distance-wise. But expected to be kind of a cloudy day today, but temperatures are going to get into the low 70s, upper 60s. And there is some chances of some thunderstorms tonight. We had some storms, of course, roll through over there south of Stratton, south of Burlington, the Cheyenne Wells. I know Rob Lopton down there in Weston had about 3/4 of an inch. That's kind of where all the weather went. And it looks like it's going to be kind of south again a little bit. We'll see here tonight. But, of course, you can always tune in to NWKS Radio and one of our 5 stations to hear severe weather coverage. If anything is severe, there was a storm that possibly could have been a tornado over there around south of Stratton, but it did not turn into one. Like I said, just some nice rain. 3/4 inch rain is pretty darn nice. And I'm sure there's a lot of happy people down there in the Tribune, Wallace County, Sharon Springs area in that part. So, and then looking into the weekend, you've got warm weather, 81 and 75. Should be some beautiful weather for what is coming up here today. What's coming up here on Saturday over in Greensburg, where once again, it is going to be the 6-man football all-star game, and it is very heavy with a lot of local athletes and coaches. Brett Clow is an assistant, and our good friend of the program, Travis Smith, head coach of the Golden Plains Bulldog football team, is the head coach, and he joins us now to talk about this upcoming 6-man football all-star game played in Greensburg, Kansas here this Saturday. Well, I was hoping it was going to work. It was a pre-recorded interview, but right now it's not working for some reason, and so this is going to be great. If it doesn't work, that's not what you want to see happen if you don't have if you can get it to go. So let's see if I can find another way of making this work. He was unable to visit with me live today because he was unable to visit with me live today because he had God, I gotta find a way to get into this here. Let's see if I can figure this out. This is what happens when you host a show by yourself and you have technical difficulties. You have to iron them out while you talk. But they were having practice. They were having practice today. Let's see here. Maybe that's the problem. There we go. Let's try this. Okay. Once again, I had a chance to visit with Travis Smith, head coach of the Golden Plains Bulldogs, but he's the head coach of the six-man all-star team in Kansas yesterday, and get his thoughts on the upcoming big Saturday down there in Greensburg. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. How's things going down there?
Oh, I tell you what, it's a great time to get around so much talent, some great coaches. It's just been fun getting to talk to these coaches like Coach Clow and Coach Cantrell, South Barber. It's fun getting around so much talent, such great coaches.
You know, has this been going on a really long time, or is this something that is kind of been new? I don't remember this happening a whole lot with a lot of history, but I could be wrong on that.
Well, we started out just playing Kansas North versus Kansas South, and we eventually expanded with the idea of going into Colorado. But this year we didn't have quite enough kids here in Kansas to make two teams, so we reached out to Texas, and they brought some kids up from the Panhandle, and now we're playing the Colorado South and Texas playing Colorado North.
Well, it's got to be, like you said, really cool. Can you talk about kind of that experience it is? You know, you're the head coach, and I know your good buddy Brett Clow is one of the assistants and other great six-man coaches here in Kansas. What's that experience been like from your perspective to get to visit with these coaches and coach with them, especially in a situation that's a little bit more lighthearted than competing on Friday nights in the fall?
Oh, it's always great to coach with Coach Clow instead of coaching against him. He's kicked my rear end several times, so it's always better to be on the sideline with him than across from him. But, you know, those guys they have such great minds. You know, Coach Clow coached at the collegiate level, and it's just great to sit down and listen to him and talk football and see how they may block this front or what their scheme is against that or that. And, man, just to have the talent on our sideline, it's just such great fun.
We're visiting with head coach of the six-man all-star game here. That would be, of course, Golden Plains' Travis Smith on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline on this morning. You mentioned the kids, and what is it like to getting to coach kids? I mean, of course, you have your own, like Josh Rath, for example, and but to get to have other kids from other schools that you compete against in the fall and getting to coach them, what is that like? I'm sure it's got to be nice not having to game plan for them, instead having to draw up a game plan with them.
Oh, absolutely. When you get the game plan for them instead of against them, that's exactly right. You know, we had our second practice this morning, and, man, we are such a physical team. And, you know, you don't always get that at your hometown school. You know, at the small schools, you'll have 3 or 4 really good kids, and you have the other pieces that fit in. But we have 18 really quality kids that we're going to struggle getting on the field because we have such depth and such quality, you know, kids from Otis Bison and in Weston and South Barber and the Cunningham kids who just took second to Weston. So, you know, there's so much talent. It's fun scheming to see how we get them on the field.
Can I ask, have you developed a scheme on how to get them all on the field yet at this point in time?
You know, we have our big group and we have our spread group, and, you know, we can run a couple different formations and spread. We can get some more speed out on the field. So yeah, we got a pretty good game plan going into Saturday.
Once again, our guest is Travis Smith, the Golden Plains head football coach and the head coach, of course, of the six-man Kansas All-Star team. I was wondering, what's this week like, or leading into this game? Kind of the day-by-day operation. What is it like for the kids? Like, when do they report? When are practice? Can you kind of give me like a rundown of what it's like leading into this game here on Saturday?
Sure. So, clear back in February, we picked our kids. You know, they had a couple months to decide if they wanted to play. And then as we got our roster filled out, the kids finally reported here this Wednesday. Our coaching staff, we've met the last couple weeks via Zoom to get things planned out, you know, get our depth chart going. We have 2 practices a day, go at 8 and we go at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They have an activity during the afternoon that they can go do. Today they're going swimming. Tomorrow we get to go down to Old Cowtown and see a gun fight. We get to have lunch, and we'll have practice again tomorrow night, and then we have a players banquet Friday night. Saturday's a little unique. This year we're going down to Greensburg. You know, it's the only 8-man turf field in Kansas, and our kids, you know, obviously don't get to see something like that all the time. So they're real excited about playing on turf, and we're the late game, so we'll take our kids over a little later. So they don't have to sit around and, you know, get nervous. We'll take them out to eat and go over and try to be there by the end of the first quarter so they can kind of relax. And then we'll play the late game at 7 o'clock.
Coach, how hard is it to pick a roster? I know the guys get honored by nominated by their coaches, but how hard is it to build a roster when there is a really good, especially this year, a great group of 6-man talent in the state?
It's really tough. You kind of have to fit what we do as coaches around the kids that we get. And luckily we have a group of kids that we have some really good offensive linemen that we can run power, and we have some great speed that we can go spread. So you just kind of build off what our kids bring to us instead of what we bring to the kids. And, we take what their talents are and really build into what we do as a staff. And, it's really fun.
How excited are the kids to play in an all-star game here in the early part of the summer?
Oh, it's great. Most of them are coming off a track or baseball or tennis or golf, so they're still in pretty good shape. For most of these guys, this is the last football game they'll ever play. So, they get to strap it up one more time. And, like our kids, we see Weskin, so many times throughout the years, and, they get to become friends and they get to play with them. So it's unique and it's fun, and the kids really enjoy it.
Once again, we are visiting with Kansas 6-man all-star head coach Travis Smith, of course, also head coach of the Golden Plains Bulldogs in the fall. Once again, you guys play at 7 o'clock Saturday night, correct? And kind of what is the schedule like for Saturday for the games?
So we'll come in, the early game that they come in about 1 o'clock. They'll have their pregame, take pictures, their warm-ups, and then we'll be over there by the end of the first quarter. About 5:30, we'll go through our pregame and then have our pictures and then strap it up and get ready to go at 7.
Well, I'd say it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be happening once again this Saturday from 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock are the games going to be happening down on the Turf 8-man field there in Greensburg, Kansas. Invite people to go out there and check that out. Coach, a couple more quick ones for you from the Golden Plains Bulldog perspective. What has the summer been like early on? I mean, what's the schedule like for kids there at Golden Plains when it comes to maybe getting in the weight room and getting conditioning and stuff for the summer months?
It's been great. I've had a great group of boys and girls in the weight room this summer. We just came off a state track and we got right into the weight room and started football practice. And the kids are excited. We had a great run last year, and the kids really want to build off that. And there's a lot of excitement in the air.
What are you kind of looking for in the weight room, both boys and girls, early on? Just kind of looking for good bases to build upon. Kind of what are you looking for early on?
No, we want to build a good base. I have most of these kids in my weightlifting class during the school year, so I know where they're kind of at, so we can really hit the ground running. The junior high kids, we get them in there and we introduce them to free weights and what weightlifting's all about. And it's really fun getting those younger kids in there and teaching them how the skills of lifting, and they get excited about it. And it's fun to hear the buzz in the weight room again. And we always are ready for school to be out, but yet we're always ready to get things going again. So it's just an exciting time.
Do you feel like there's like a new energy kind of when the weight season begins here in the summer, kind of like a newborn energy, like we're starting over and it's the very beginning of another kind of athletic school year to an extent?
I really think so, especially this year. We had that great run in football. We had a really good group of seniors that have left, and they built that foundation. And we have, Dylan Wark and Diego Perez, who are my two seniors this year, who we're really going to lean on. And, they've been really good leaders, and they've set the tone for us, and they're ready to become leaders and, really lead from what came off of last year.
How would you say attendance is overall throughout the summer there in the Golden Plains weight room? How many numbers do you kind of have on average?
Anywhere between 20 to 22. In the weight room, we have really good participation. The issue with us is we're so spread out. We go, our district goes clear to Jennings, about to Colby, down through Hoxie. So our kids are really spread out. So it is tough for some of those kids to get in the weight room, but we really do have good attendance, really good attendance through our practices in the summer. So it's great to see our kids be excited about participating in sports.
When dealing with that, like you said, the distance things, do you send out things to kids that maybe can't make it in all the time for them to do on their own at home or anything like that?
Absolutely. They get to work out, and we always make sure they're conditioning and staying in shape, and then a lot of our kids are farmers, so we know that they're getting to work out on the farm as well.
Once again, we are visiting with Golden Plains head football coach Travis Smith. He's a part of the six-man all-star games be happening this weekend down in Greensburg, Kansas. What about yourself, Coach? You got anything fun planned for the summer? Besides this, of course, this upcoming weekend, obviously.
I am getting married in June, June 28th, so that's kind of exciting. Getting that all planned out and then going to honeymoon to Cancun. So, yeah, we got some things going on.
I would say you've got a lot going on. You are one busy man here this summer. Coach, we really appreciate you taking some time. Best of luck here on Saturday. Look forward to seeing how it all shakes out there at the six-man all-star games.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Once again, that was Travis Smith joining me yesterday talking about the six-man all-star game going to be happening down in Greensburg here this Saturday. Once again, games will be played at 3 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. 3 o'clock will be Texas All-Stars against the North All-Stars from Colorado. And then the nightcapper is the Kansas All-Stars against the Colorado South All-Stars. Tons and tons of local ties. Not only, of course, we mentioned with Travis and Brett Clow, Weskin and Golden Plains coaches will be leading the Kansas teams, but so many local athletes. Golden Plains will have Miguel Garcia, Wyatt Amlong, Josh Rath. Weskin will have Judah Crow, Trey Allen, and Dean, I think it's Stein is how you say his name. Ingalls is Breck Averoff and Langston Northern. So Shai Lynn will have Harley McPherson and John Sabatka. Like I said, lots of local six-man football players playing in these games. And not only local guys, but think about it. You've got Trey Allen, Josh Rath, and Langston Northern all on the same team. I mean, and Northern was one of the top rushers in the state. Rath was fantastic this year for Golden Plains, and Trey Allen helped lead Weskin to a state title. One of the biggest reasons why. I mean, those three guys are all on the same team. It is going to be very, very tough, I think, for the opposing teams to beat Kansas because they've got three dudes on that team. And like you said, they're having a lot of fun mixing and matching, going with power formations to spread formations on offense. And it's great. And a lot of these guys, this is this is their swan song. This is the end because they're not going to probably get a chance to go play at the next level. This is their chance to, like you said, to put on the pads one more time, and pretty darn cool. So look forward to seeing how that is. But best luck to all the six-man all-stars as they get set for their games on Saturday down in Greensburg. Okay, let's get to a timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap the show with some fun on a Friday. Little 3 Up, 3 Down is next here on the Morning Blitz.
Mo and Matt and Michaela Cow said M&M Supply continues with deals on Hustler mowers. A good supply with discounts on some closeouts right now. Different models, different sizes, financing available. They'll take your trade-ins. They work on all types of different riding mowers, but they do carry Hustler mowers, Hustler parts. Hustlers made right here in Kansas, USA. They carry cordless DeWalt tools like DeWalt lodge edgers, chainsaws, trimmers, 20 or 60 watt. Yeah, they'll keep on growing, so you keep on mowing at M&M Supply, rural Edson, Kansas.
Big savings are waiting at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 25 Chevy Silverado 1500 with 0.9% APR for 60 months plus $3,500 trade-in cash. Or choose a 25 GMC Sierra 1500 Turbo Max, 0.9% APR, or up to over $7,800 off if you own a GMC or Buick. And don't forget, military members get an extra $750 cash allowance. It's happening now at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Start your day with a blitz of sports news, analysis, and interviews.
Sounds like a pretty damn good deal to me.
This is the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
We'll get to some ridiculous stats in the walk-off from yesterday in a baseball game. Don't forget, of course, this weekend, a ton of fun with lots of things going on around the listening area, including the Highway 24 garage sales that are taking place this weekend. In fact, if you'd like to pop by my place, we're having a garage sale, so you can stop by. But there's lots of people. I think I saw this like near over 40 people in Goodland alone, the Goodland area, that are having a garage sale, and there's tons of people along Highway 24. So if you are one of those like people that love to go look through other people's stuff or find great deals, some real treasures, quote unquote, this is your weekend with the Highway 24 garage sale. Should be a really, really fun time. That is going on this weekend. Also is the Prairie Barn Market that's happening at the Prairie Museum of Art and History. So that's great. Like I said, there are all kinds of great things happening this weekend, and should have some decent weather for. Like I said, may not be super sunny, but it's not going to be super hot. So it should be a pretty darn good weekend overall. All right, we got a couple minutes to wrap up the show here, and I think we'll do it real quickly with an edition of 3 Up and 3 Down.
3 questions.
Let me ask you something.
3 answers.
Answer the question.
It's 3 Up, 3 Down on the Morning Blitz.
All right, so question number 1 here on 3 Up, 3 Down. What is the most intriguing super regional for college baseball this weekend? Well, I'll run through them real quickly here. There is Miami at Louisville, Florida State at Oregon State, which is a top 10 matchup there, Arizona at North Carolina, Coastal Carolina at Auburn, University of Texas San Antonio at UCLA, Murray State at Duke, West Virginia at LSU, and Tennessee at Arkansas. Okay, the most intriguing one is the last one. It's the Fayetteville Super Regional. Number 14, Tennessee, at number 3, Arkansas. First and foremost, Arkansas is a nut house to play in. They've got an unbelievably talented team, as they always do underneath Dave Van Horn, and also former Goodland Cowboy Nate Thompson, who's an assistant for the Hogs. But then Tennessee brings in Tony Vitello, who's phenomenal. Tony V is an amazing coach, and they're the reigning national champs. I know these coaches don't really like each other. They're super competitive. This is going to be fireworks. I'm telling you, fireworks in Fayetteville. It's going to be really good. But I'm not going to lie, West Virginia at LSU, the Mountaineers are white hot right now. That'd be intriguing to see if they could upset the Tigers, who are an Omaha favorite. Murray State at Duke, because those teams have never been to a super regional or never been to a College World Series. Either of them would be super cool to see. And what UTSA did down at the Austin Regional against Texas, if they can do that against UCLA, they may be playing the College World Series. The Roadrunners, beep, beep. That would be cool to see if UTSA get there. So those are the ones that really stand out to me. But no doubt the most intriguing one is Tennessee at Arkansas. That one is going to be really competitive. Fireworks. Let me tell you, lots and lots of fireworks. Continuing on here on the Morning Blitz with 3 Up and 3 Down. Question number 2. News yesterday that Aaron Rodgers has signed a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, as there was ever a doubt he wasn't going to show up any sooner than he had to. But the question is, how much of an impact will Aaron Rodgers have with the Steelers? Look, he's a good quarterback. It's on a decline. But they've done some things to kind of help bolster the team around him a little bit. They have Jalen Warren, who I've always been a fan of, and they did draft Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, who's a really good back. I think those two could be good. They added DK Metcalf. Remember him, of course, the muscle man out of Seattle. He's now a Steeler. That's a big piece. And they still have Pat Freiermuth, one of the more underrated tight ends. Can they protect Aaron Rodgers? That's going to be the biggest thing. I don't know if they can do that. You remember, they went 10-7 last year. It wasn't like they were a complete turd. But I don't know if they're going to be a whole lot better than 10-7 this year with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. Can they protect him? You got to think they'll play good defense. But the Steelers have been known for running the ball more. If they can continue to run the ball efficiently and just let him pass when they have to, that's probably the formula. But I just can't see Aaron Rodgers doing a lot of that. He loves to have the game in his hands. So I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of an impact added there. But I'll tell you what, the NFL sure knows how to hit a home run, don't they? Game number 1 for the Steelers this year at the Jets, where, of course, Aaron Rodgers played last year. And so that's interesting. And by the way, the schedule is not just absolutely horrific to get going. I mean, they're at New York, then they're at home versus Seattle, at New England. I mean, they could be 3-0 before they take on a Minnesota team, which is pretty good. Then they've got Cleveland. They could get a win. I mean, the first 5 games, they could be 4-1. But then it really stiffens up Cincinnati, Green Bay, and, of course, that daunting AFC North division schedule, which is a challenge. So they were 10-7 last year, and that was with really no quarterback. If he can go out, I mean, he might be able to get them another win or two, but that division is so hard. And I expect the Baltimore to be good. I expect Cincinnati to bounce back. So we'll see. But, Aaron Rodgers, a Steeler. Not that it's a humongous surprise to anyone. And the final question of 3 at 3 down here this morning, has Jack Caglione's start to his MLB career been a disappointment? It's 3 games. So I'm not going to jump down a guy's throat for 3 games. But he is 1-13. 1 for 13. He's got a .077 batting average with, I think, 6 or 7 strikeouts. I'm not going to go out there and say that he's a bust. That's not what I'm saying. It's his first series. There's no way I'm saying that. Has a disappointment? Maybe a little bit. He did have a hit in the game yesterday. Game 1 of the doubleheader, had an RBI double. That's what you're hoping to see more of. Him able to hit for extra bases and particularly drive-in runs when guys are out on the pads. So it's not a humongous disappointment, but it is a little sad. I figured he'd have at least maybe 3 hits in his. I think he'd average about a hit a series. Hasn't happened. Long, long way to go. I'm like I said, a little bit of disappointment for me, but not a ton when it comes to Jack Caglione. He will be a good ball player, I believe, for the Royals. You think about it. He went from Double-A, had barely a bathroom break, cup of coffee at Triple-A, and now at the majors. I mean, that was such a huge skip with no time. So maybe he needed to marinate a little bit more in Triple-A before going up. We'll see. But 1-13 start for Jack Caglione at this point in time in his career. There you go. 3 up, 3 down here on the Morning Blitz. We got to get out of here. It's time for the walk.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Gray? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Yesterday was a day that some fans, like my good buddies in Nebraska who are Braves fans, and other fans will love to forget, and some fans that are like me, Diamondback fan, will love to remember. What happened in Atlanta yesterday was one for the ages. The Diamondbacks complete the comeback on the Atlanta Braves with a shocking 7-run rally in the top of the 9th to win 11-10 yesterday. The D-backs overcome a 10-4 deficit with a 2-out double to left down the line by Gino Suarez. The stats on this are ridiculous. According to ESPN research, the Diamondbacks entered that game with a record of 0-334 when trailing by 6 runs or more entering the 8th inning, and 0-418 when trailing by that margin in the 9th. On the flip side, the Braves had won 766 consecutive games when leading by 6 or more runs entering the 9th inning. The last time they failed to do it in July of 1973. And on the flip side, MLB teams have been 0-1-4-6-1 when trailing by 6 runs when entering the 9th. That's just nuts. Unbelievable stats there from Major League Baseball. All right, we're out of here. Have a great weekend. See you back here on Monday. It's been the Blitz.
Classic rock plays here. This is Rocket 102.5, KKCI, Goodland, Burlington, Colby, and online at nwksradio.net.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The newly released jobs report came in better